Hello and welcome everybody back to episode 30. It's a big landmark. Episode 30 of Insurance Isn't Boring. This is Xander Wolle, joined as always by my lovely co-host, Mr. Elijah Corujo. And we are coming to you right before Symmetry Super Bowl. So we're going to talk a little bit about conference, kind of chat about our weeks, things that you should be trying to get out of conference, how to think about it going into it. Before we do that, I guess number one, how's your week been, man?
Week's going good, man. Week's going good. Helping protect some families. Getting excited. Um, I'm at 4 apps for just over 10,000 in premium. I got lucky on my last appointment. Full disclosure, bef- uh, before yesterday, I was at 3 apps for 6,500. So I snuck in a fatty at the last minute there, courtesy of
Some big
Americo.
apps. Big
Yeah,
apps, man.
yeah. Took notes from Jake Van Dusen. I'm on his premium per lead ratio now.
Yeah, he's crushing it. I'm at 11 sits so far this week, 6 apps, just over 4 grand. It's a little bit smaller apps, but I'm happy with that close ratio. We got 6 families helped, so can't complain about that. Um, and like I said, this is it's Friday. People will start getting to Denver. Denver's where I guess we've talked about different, events a lot of times on the show, but for anybody who is new, Elijah and I obviously are both with Symmetry Financial Group, Quility, kind of one and the same. And once a year, once a year, the company hosts a large event for the entire company in Denver, Colorado. Obviously, different agencies have, other live events throughout the year. Um, and Elijah is a veteran of these events. I'm becoming one. And we just wanted to talk a little bit about, expectations, what you should be looking to get out of conference, mindset going into it. Um, I know I wouldn't be here without the different events that I've attended. I'm pretty sure you're the same. We were talking about that before we got on here.
Sure.
Um, I guess for you, man, we can really take a step back of like, why should you go to events? I think anybody
Yeah.
listening to this might benefit kind of starting there and then walking into what are some of our biggest takeaways. How do you go into a conference? What are you looking to get out of it? We'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah. Um, so I'll give you the my testimonial, if you will. So I get licensed. Let's rewind the clock a little bit. I get licensed in May of 2018, part time. I'm trying to figure this thing out. May, June, July, and August were rough. My first 4 months were rough. You don't know what you don't know. Like when you're brand new at something, you're going to suck for a while. I sucked a little longer than most people because I didn't engage, which is the theme of this year's conference, but I didn't plug in. I wasn't reaching out to get help. I was winging it. Everything changed when I go to my first event. So Symmetry hosts these national conferences, and the truth is, like, if you want to have a lasting career in the insurance space, you have to go to one of these. Like, you have to. You will not be here 6 months from now if you don't go. You will not make six figures if you don't go. And nobody gets into this business to barely scrape by. It'd be mediocre. So I go to my first event, and it was hard to get there too. I think a lot of newer people can relate to the difficulty of buying a ticket to go to an event, maybe flying to that event or driving hours to get to that event, paying for a hotel, paying for food. You're out of the field for a couple of days too to get to an event, but the value you're going to get in those 2 or 3 days will last the years to follow. So before I went to my first conference, my claim to fame is I sold 2,000 and some change in premium. That was my biggest month prior to going to a conference. I go to the event last weekend in August, and I come out of that event, and in September, the following month, still part-time, I saw a little over 17,000. So I go from 2 grand to 17,000. The only thing that changed was that event. And so and a lot of people have similar stories to that. Um, but there's a lot of value in going, and we'll get into that. But you should go if you want to be here next year, or if you're struggling, or if you are on top of it and absolutely killing it, you should still go because you're going to get something out of it. I've been to 13 conferences, Xander, over the last 7 years, and there's not been one that I was like, it was kind of a waste. I could have missed that. Not a single one have I felt that way. So well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I've had a similar experience. So like again, I don't think that this is unique. And I felt like I had all this background on paper. We talked about it a little bit with Eleanor. Um, and I fell flat on my face my first 2 months. Now I got lucky that 2 months after I got my license, we had a conference. And I wasn't planning on going because I was that new agent. I was like, this is going to cost me some money. Like I'm already investing in leads to do my job. I got a license, all of this stuff. You're telling me I got to come out of pocket to go learn how to do this. And that is part of the mindset shift that we've talked about a lot. Once I got there, actually I landed and I didn't know a soul. I did not know anybody. And so it's a little bit, I don't think lonely is the right word because you see a lot of people walking around with Symmetry badges on. But I was like, what have I got myself into? I am maybe the world's biggest fool. And then I came out of it and I still have voice memos in my phone from we stayed out late having a good time. But those nights, and I was just like, I'm going to plant my flag here. And then almost to the mark, 2 years later, hitting agency owner is just kind of a interesting full circle moment. And I came out of there. I wrote my first two policies that same week after conference. And it was just like, I was almost in disbelief. I was like, no way. Like they said that you were going to get this magical little, pixie dust sprinkled on you if you make it to one of these events, covered the entire cost of the event. So, and that those skills can't be taken away from you, right? Like once you have it, you have it. And so it's a small, fairly small upfront investment for something that's going to pay you dividends throughout the rest of your career. So if for whatever reason you're a new agent and you're like, I don't know if I can make it, figure out how to get there. Some of the top, Mark Neubauer, my upline, right? His first conference, he split a room with 5 dudes. I'm pretty sure he slept on the floor, and now he's top of the company, equity partner, just a short 7 or 8 years later. So there's countless stories. You can listen to us or anybody else. You got to get your butt to a conference. Going into them, right? If it's your first one, I didn't know what to expect. What were your thoughts walking into that first event that you went to? What were you trying to get out of it? Obviously, production, that's a given. But what were you looking to get out of it, and what did you end up taking away from it?
Great question. I came into it assuming that this was just a rah-rah motivational, everybody getting excited type event. Like there's
SKO.
no real value. You get some energetic speakers and you get everybody cheering and being loud and clapping, and it's like no one knows what the hell any of this means. And events like that are nowhere near as valuable as what our conference is designed to be about. And so I came into it with that assumption. Like I'm going because they're telling me to, but I'm thinking that this is going to be just a everybody getting fired up type situation. And being fired up is valuable, but it doesn't teach you how to become an elite producer. Okay. Like there's not a ton of value in that. I also went to my first conference to see if this company was legit. I went as a skeptic, okay, and I left as a believer. Because before going to my first event, I'm on these conference calls, like I'm hearing people talk about the business, and I'm like, this just sounds too good to be true. And my first conference happened to be in Washington, D.C. I was living in Virginia at the time, so it was like a 3 or 4 hour drive. And I was like, I'll go to DC. Okay. It wasn't super difficult for me to get there. But people flew in from all over the country, dude. So I go to figure out if this thing's legit. And I also split a room with a couple people for my first event. And we get there and we're in the Gaylord Convention Center in DC, which is a massive conference center. And we're in this like gigantic room with 4,000 people who are all in this company. And I don't even remember who the keynote speaker was at that event, to be honest with you. We've had incredible keynote speakers since then, and they were great because I left thinking like I found my spot, like this is my home. But the main tangible things that you're going to leave with at an event is one belief that you can do this. Before you get your insurance license and you get some success, it's totally normal to doubt, can I do this? Is this possible? I left with belief. The second thing I left with was the practical, this is what I need to do to win. Before I went to my event, I was winging it. I was like driving somewhere without a GPS, trying to get somewhere I've never been and was going in circles. I came out of it with the blueprint of the Symmetry system. Like you buy leads, you book appointments, you follow the system, you write apps, you recruit people, you make a ton of money, rinse and repeat. Like that's the system in a nutshell. And I knew the basics of it, but I didn't know this is what it looks like. And so at that event, they have like main sessions where they have speakers. They also have breakout sessions where it's much smaller and it's topical. And there was one in particular that I went to, and it was all about dialing and booking appointments, which was the biggest thing I struggled with. Like, if you don't have appointments on your calendar and you're an insurance agent, I hate to break it to you, but you're unemployed until you do have appointments. And
Yeah.
so, I came out of it with the training. And then I think the most valuable thing I came out of it with, man, was some new friendships and new relationships because you're working from home and it's like you're meeting with people on Zoom that you work with or maybe over the phone. But now I've got people that I know are in the trenches with me that I can rub elbows with and call when I need help with something, or they're doing the thing that I'm doing. And so they can relate. And I mean, I probably have more friends within this company than I have outside of this company at this point. And I wouldn't have those had I not gone to an event. Like, I've got Brandon's phone number, I've got Casey's phone number. We've been able to do stuff with Edward Pritchett. And like, we've been able to meet some incredible people that have helped me get to where I am. And I would have never gotten that had I not gone to an event. And for the ticket price of, I want to say it was like, I don't know, 160 bucks maybe, and some gas money and a cheap hotel. Shoot, infinite ROI on that event.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny in hindsight. It feels like a very like I don't miss them now, and it feels like such a small expense after you've been to one. I can understand coming in brand new. It's like, oh my gosh, a couple $100. You know, I was tighter on funds when I first got here. Um, I think my first reaction showing up was holy shit. Like this is a production and a half. Like they've got
Yeah,
all the carriers lined up, they got people talking, and there are so many just you can feel the buzz about the building.
yeah,
Like everyone is and that's a big thing. I think that's a difference in like a typical, I said SKO joking, like a typical sales kickoff for a W-2 company where, hey, yeah, maybe sure you're still getting some commissions versus everyone showing up to conference has the same goal, right? They're betting on themselves, and because there's that fee, and it's not just show up willy nilly. Like there's almost you're filtering out people who aren't serious about this, and so the energy. I'm getting a little woozy here, but like the energy of all of these people on the same page as you, trying to improve themselves, improve their business. It's hard to put into words, quite frankly. I agree with everything that you said. You're going to get excited, the belief, you're going to get actionable steps of what you need to go do next, and associating with other people who are going through the same thing, right? Sometimes the leads are going to be mean to you. And like that is just a part of the game, right? You're calling somebody out of the blue and they're not expecting your phone call, even though they did request information on this. Um, and the other thing is just like you said, you're not going to be able to get to where you want to get to without it. I hear Chris Cook say it in basically every interview that he does. He's like, if you want to make 30, 40 grand this year and kind of do this part time, okay, sure, you don't need to be there. But if you really want to blow the doors off of this thing, you've got to be around other people doing it and hearing their stories. Like some of the top leaders in the company talking about how when they showed up, they weren't even at zero. They were negative. multiple six figures. And now they have agencies that are doing seven figures a month. It just does something to you.
Yeah. It's like the way I've heard it described too is you could describe the Grand Canyon to somebody and then you talk to somebody who's been there and it's not the same. Like there's a difference between going and like hearing about it. And there's other companies that do great conferences. I've heard amazing things about Cody Askin's 8% conference. And a lot of the people in our company are the speakers at that event.
Yeah.
And our conference tickets, no shade at 8%, but our conference tickets are a fraction of the price.
Yep. Yeah.
There's not $1,000 conference ticket for our event.
No
And
VIP. Like,
Symmetry, bro, they invest, our company invests like over $2 million to host this event every single year. Probably way more than that, actually, knowing all of the people, the hundreds of staff that they have to hire. And it's worth it. But a couple of do's and don'ts, I would say, like, when you go to an event like this, go with intentionality. And so have something written down that you are hoping to get out of this event, whether it's something you're struggling with as far as production or maybe recruiting goes, or somebody specific that you want to talk to. Don't sit in the back, dude. That's where the losers hang out. And that goes for any event. Like if you're sitting in the back, you should you should be back there because there was no other seats anywhere else.
yeah. Yeah. Full
Um,
house.
a lot of people will skip out on the breakout sessions and the main sessions. And I don't even, to be honest, like I've brought people to conferences with me who missed the main session and the breakout sessions, and
Why are
they're
you
not still
there?
here. Yeah,
Why,
right.
why are you
Literally.
going?
I have no clue, dude. No clue. Bring a notebook. But I think the most valuable thing, like if you don't remember anything from this podcast, the only thing I think that would be super valuable is take notes at that event, come home, review those notes, and then go apply it. Because you could go to an event, learn all kinds of stuff, come home, change nothing, and you changed nothing. And
Again,
so,
why'd you go if you're not going to implement what you learned?
yeah. Xander, talk a little bit about like the value of an event as it pertains to recruiting, because Symmetry is a company that basically recruits from event to event. It's how you get people to be sticky. And you could go alone. I've been to plenty of events alone. I've been to a couple where I brought a few people, but the people who have the biggest agencies in this company are the people who get the most butts and seats. So, like, what does that look like? Why is that valuable? I mean, you're here because somebody brought you. So, like, talk a little bit about like conferences and recruiting and everything in between.
So, I mean, part of it's like the belief. I think that's a big thing. Is a lot of people are wondering like, can I really do this? And they're going to get that. But I would say more importantly, I was surprised statistically. I thought it was impossible that there were so many people who wanted to see other people win and were just great character, cared about the families they're helping in one place. And that is sticky. And then you go talk to your upline and they're, asking you about your life and what goals do you have and how can I help you get there. There's very little about me, and it's more so about serving others when you're coming there as a leader. And they get to touch you. They can feel, again, I'm talking about energy a lot, which is, again, something that I was very foreign to me before finding Symmetry. But they can feel that energy. Like being on Zoom is great, right? Elijah and I are on Zoom together all day. But the place that we figured out where to start this podcast was in person. And so when you can touch somebody, break bread with them, and really feel that, like, yeah, I'm invested in your success. I want to see you win here. Your belief in them is going to increase their own belief in themselves. And then just how relatable everybody is. Like there isn't, I heard one agent who was like, "Oh, I'm confused. Like a lot of the people at this conference seem to be other people in the company. Like I was expecting to see like there's some companies they'll have like Shaq or Kobe, RIP. They'll have like Kobe come. Um,
That
what
would have
good
been
does that
sick.
do you as an insurance agent though?
Right.
Like
Right.
Shaq isn't selling insurance, you know? Um, and the relatability of all of those people, you'll see them after, like, we have a big costume party. No one takes themselves too seriously. And, like, hey, I can relate to that person. And Oh, they actually came in here in a worse spot than I'm currently in, and their life looks pretty good. I'm trying to get to where they're at. Um, I again, it all comes back to belief for someone who's at their first event. Um, I can't hammer it home enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was going to be somebody at that event that relates to your agent, maybe it better than you do, or they
Yeah,
might be an expert on one thing that you're not, and then they can go learn from them. Like, I would rather if I'm bringing people to an event, I want them to hear from Danny Young, Marshall Whalen, Edward Pritchett, Jamie Susie, like all of these people who've built massive agencies versus me. Like I don't want to be the answer, end all be all for them. Like I'd rather introduce them to the company, and it just kind of goes back to our culture, bro. Like the culture of this company is about taking people and turning them into business owners and agency owners. Like, I mean, one of my favorite examples of this is Marlon Faulkner. And Marlon, if you're listening to this, bro, we're gonna get you on the pod because I heard his story a while back, and dude went to his first conference, and at this time in his life, he was couch surfing and sleeping out of his car, and he had to he had to make it work to get to that event, and he got to that event and like had to ask for money to go buy dinner type situation. And you look at him now, dude's running an organization that's probably doing $8 to $10 million per year in sales, and he's at the top contract in the company, and you want to tell me you don't need an event? Get the hell out of here, bro. Get there if you're serious. And that's who it's for. And it also comes back to our core values. Like we have fun, we get stuff done. It's not a boring event. You're not just sitting in lectures for 3 days. Like there's all kinds of fun stuff going on, and there's always a big party at the end. Where you can associate. And I would dare anybody who's a skeptic or on the fence, like go to that event and then call me after and tell me it was a waste of time and money, and I'll pay for your conference ticket.
yeah,
Seriously.
100%. Take
So
that to the bank. One thing I do want to mention that is new this year is I know that, to go, right, you're taking yourself out of the day-to-day of the business, and Symmetry, I love them. Like that's the reason that they have an advisory board. It has been very intentional about let's see what we can do to mitigate that. Do not turn off your leads. Don't do that. Um, they have specific dial time scheduled where you can dial alongside the Jake Van Duzens, the Dylan Cranes, whoever's the top producers in your agency. You can literally listen and watch them do it, and then they have time set aside for you to go do the same. How cool would that be, right? You show up to an event, maybe you haven't been having luck like Elijah or myself were when we were coming to these events. You learn something, you put it into effect at said event, and then pay for entire event while you're at said event. Like, shout out Americo. They usually pay next day, right? Like, go get someone approved through Americo, and then your event's covered. Don't turn off your leads. Symmetry's been very intentional about blocking off time so that we can help families and implement everything that we learn while we're there.
Hmm. And you're going to come out of this event too, and immediately, I mean, not immediately, but you'll kick off quarter four. And quarter four is the most insurance in our company every single year is sold in the last 3 months of the year. And then you've got conference right beforehand to kind of implement some new changes because I mean it's inevitable. They're going to roll out some new stuff. You're gonna learn some new things that you're gonna want to go ahead and apply. And then you got October, November, December to go tear it up. Um, so it's gonna be really good, man. Really, really good.
And
Lives are going to be changed.
the other thing I want to mention is so we focus primarily on probably new agents, right, who are hearing this, is it doesn't take a whole lot to get somebody to go to a conference after they've been to one. But I do just want to mention to anybody who's maybe been to a couple of conferences before, um, the thing that I love most is I have a different thing that I'm going in there for each time. So like this year, I'm looking to figure out how I can explode my agency. And the cool thing is everybody who's done that is going to be in Denver. And so while my first two were very heavily like, how do I hit top producer? How do I run appointments effectively? How do I book appointments? This one is much more, how do I continue to develop myself as a leader and be a leader that others believe is worth following? And there's literally a breakout called scaling to the enterprise level. That's where I'm trying to get to. And so to anyone who's like, cool, I went to one, I had a good time, but now I understand production. Okay, what next? If you're not growing, you're falling behind. Um, that's the thing I love about it so much. It's like there's always something new you can take away, regardless of where you are at in the business. So yeah, I'm just excited to see everybody.
It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good. Anything else you think the people need to hear about an event?
Get there, don't turn off leads, be intentional. You hit on this a little bit, but I would have a list, go back and watch a couple national calls or go look at some leaderboards. I would have a list of 5 to 10 people that you're like, man, I gotta meet that person. Like they're where I'm trying to get to. They really inspire me. Go up and introduce yourself. Now, guidelines for introducing yourself, let them know your name, let them know when you got into business, let them know who your upline is, and then have an actual question for them, not just, you know, how do I run an appointment? We have breakouts for that. Let's go a little bit below the surface level of showing that you are valuing their time a bit of like, hey, I've noticed you're really good at this. How do you do that?
Hmm.
And you can
That's a
keep
good
open-ended.
nugget right there.
But I would go in there on a mission and have some of those questions. Also, don't dress like a slob, right? Like
Dude,
don't wear
good one.
pajama pants. No one's going to take you seriously, right? Wear, at the very least, a golf shirt or something. I'm going to be wearing a sport coat. I might be rocking some insurance isn't boring merchandise. Um, dress for the job you want, not the one you have. I've always heard that. And yeah, I take a lot of notes and be ready to have your mind expanded because like you, I was a cynic when I first came in and I came out the biggest believer ever.
Hmm. Go there, sponge. Come out with all kinds of new knowledge that you can go apply, change your life, and the rest is history, bro.
Heck yeah, brother.
It's gonna be good. Well, with that, a little bit of a shorter one today. I think we're gonna skip next week as
For
far as
sure.
like dropping a podcast, but we'll come out of it with a new guest lineup and some awesome content coming y'all's way. Appreciate everybody listening. Get out there, go kick some ass before conference next week. See ya.
Peace.